Wow, what classroom is this? Lydia asked. She has never been in the forge before. This is called the forge. This is where we craft magic items, and one of the 4 items could be in here, Zack said. Lydia then saw another pair of one of those runes, so she pressed it and had an eerie light shining. Then she looked up to see a fire that could be in it. Zack, do you know what that circle with the places for fire are? Lydia asked. She looked up at the weird circle thing. I never really knew what they were. We asked the teacher, but he didn't give us any info on what they are. Do you want me to go check it out? Zack asked. Okay, Zack. Please be careful, Lydia said. As Zack did the puzzle, there was a blue glowing light at the middle and he flew down. Lydia then got to look to the puzzle item to get the item hidden in the forge. Within a couple of minutes, the item appeared in a container with a flame on it. Wow, it's one of these weird containers, Lydia said. She showed the item to Zack. These must be one of the items we're looking for. I think they might open the sanctuary with all 4 of them, Zack said. They are hidden in each of these classrooms. Look, Zack! This lantern produces no heat. I could put my whole hand through it and it's not burning me, Lydia said in a cheerful mood. Awesome! That's cool, Lydia. We might find out what's really going on in this school, Zack said. Lydia then looked down as if she was sad. Zack wasn't sure if something was wrong. Lydia, what's wrong? Zack asked. The fire reminds me of my house that got burnt down, and Nathaniel was the one who saved my life, Lydia said. I'm so sorry, Lydia, Zack said while comforting her. It's okay, but we need to find more items in the classrooms, Lydia replied. Nathaniel was always so kind to me, but now I don't know if he's responsible for what's going on in this academy. I have a feeling that he might be. At least we got the first one. This is great. Now we only have 3 more to go, Zack said. He and Lydia then went to the other classrooms with floating balls, and everything was unlocked. When Lydia and Zack went to the secret library, she and Zack took a bit at the library and had certain doors. They took a look at the tapestry, and they knew about the items that they were looking for. And then Lydia and Zack headed to the herbalism classroom. This was the class that me and Celeste spoke to each other a few times, Zack explained. You did? Celeste taught me everything about herbalism, Zack explained. She always shared her love for this subject. Celeste got that love for her plants comes from her mother, Ilana. She was an herbalist and the best healer in town, Lydia sighed. It was making her angry that the school was empty. Gosh, I hate this school. Not knowing if Celeste is safe or not is driving me nuts. I'm pretty sure we'll figure out soon, Zack said, as Lydia found some flower pots. What are those? Lydia asked. The teacher only touches the pots, so when you touch them, some flowers will grow, Zack replied. I didn't really pay attention to this, as the students were not allowed to touch them. Lydia then did the puzzle with the herbalism until she found a container that had a pearl inside. Wow, it's another of these weird containers. This is another of the items we're looking for, Zack said, as he smiled and Lydia and him left the classroom. Zack looked at Lydia. Lydia, did you and Celeste met any other boys when you were young? Zack asked. Yes, Jack and Robert were the ones we met, Lydia said. Who were they? Oh, Jack had brown hair and he really liked Celeste as a friend when we were young, and Robert was just like me. They were kind and helped me and Celeste a couple of times together, Lydia explained. Will you ever meet them again someday? Zack asked. Maybe we'll end up seeing each other again. Did you even met a girl? Lydia asked, wanting to know if Zack had met a girl before. I have. She had black hair and her name was Haley. She's been standing up to me when I was young. Now that I'm not around her, everyone just made fun of me here. But Celeste never made fun of me, Zack said, and with an explanation. She'll be sure that you won't be sad anymore once we find her and the rest of the students, Lydia said, as she and Zack then went to the art classroom. I was brewing my potion when I couldn't find the heating flower, so I peeled the bark off a tree to see if it would change me into a dragon, but I ended up changing into a wolf, Zack admitted it. He was the one who hurt Alvandar in the glade. I knew it was you, Lydia said, crossing her arms. Yes, I'm guilty, Zack replied in shame. You'll have to come with me to Alvandar and apologize to him for hurting him like that, Lydia said to Zack. I will, Lydia, Zack said. Then a painting of his he saw on the canvas. Hey, look, there's a painting I did. We could use this to find the items we're looking for. Well, then we'll use it, Zack, Lydia said. Then she did the art puzzle until she found another container, which had a dust cloud inside. Wow, look at that! It's another of these weird containers. Now we only have one more to find now, and we have 3 so far, Zack said. And I bet the last one is in the observatory, Lydia replied. I just remember something. Nathaniel was here one day, Zack began. Why was he here? Nathaniel came in and he was talking to one of the teachers, Zack explained. Was he talking about something? Lydia asked. He was, but I didn't hear what he said, Zack replied. When we left, Nathaniel was all alone here. Lydia was then feeling dizzy. I don't feel good, Zack. Lydia tried to warn Zack, but she was too late to warn Zack, as another vision was coming. Since the day I left Lydia, you have been with me, little doll. I feel sad that my father hasn't been treating me very nice, Celeste said as she coughed. This disease is draining all of my strength. Now I know how people feel when they're alone. Father, Celeste said when she saw her father open the bedroom door. Where were you? I haven't seen you in days. Celeste, Nathaniel began, but he couldn't stand the sight of his daughter very sick. It reminded him from what Ilana was very sick. Come sit by side and tell me stories. You know, when I was young, and me and my mother would sit by the fireplace and listen to you for hours. Father? Father! Celeste said. As Nathaniel walked away, she began to cry. Now I know how orphans must feel without their parents. And with the last time I saw my father smiled, it was way before our mother became sick. At least Lydia should be here any day now. Oh, Lydia, where are you? I could really use your arms. Nathaniel looked up at the sky. Lydia approached him, wondering about what happened. Nathaniel, what happened? Lydia asked. First, Ilana, and now my beautiful daughter. Nathaniel sighed sadly. Nathaniel, where is Celeste? I'm sure we could find a cure for her. Lydia asked. Why? What have I done to have this happen? Nathaniel cried out in anger. Where is Celeste? Answer me! Lydia shouted before her vision finished. Lydia found herself back at the sanctuary. Zack? Lydia called as Zack approached her. I'm here, Lydia, Zack said to her. I had another vision. Celeste was really sick in my vision, Lydia replied. She was now worried. I think we should just relax for a few minutes, Zack suggested before Lydia declined it. No, Zack. Not until we find out what's going on in the school, Lydia said. I'm very sorry about what happened. I couldn't warn you before my other vision, Lydia said. As she and Zack got to the observatory and climbed the stairs, they were halfway up to find the last item. Zack, have you ever heard a tale about the stars? Lydia asked. No, I don't think I haven't before, Zack replied. Back in my village, many elders were told about the stars that have great people. The people who lived in the past will look down on you from those stars, and whenever you feel alone, those stars will always be there to guide you. And so will I, Lydia explained, while she and Zack were walking up to the stairs. I believe what the elders told me that a shooting star will always be in the sky until it stops, and the stars will tell you that someone who you love found peace. When they make a shape of someone who is close to you died, they'll be in the stars, and you'll see them in the stars in the sky. That tells you you're the person who you dear died and found peace. They'll watch over me until my time comes to join them, Lydia said. She and Zack then found a huge telescope. Wow, this is the biggest spyglass I've ever seen. Zack started to laugh. It's a telescope, not a spyglass, Zack said. We use this telescope to look at the stars at night. I would love to look at the stars at nighttime, Lydia said. It was the biggest telescope she's ever seen. Oh, you can check it out right now. Even in the daytime you can, Zack said, as Lydia did the puzzle until she finally got the last container, which had a meteorite inside. Good, it's one of these weird containers, Lydia said. It looks like a meteorite. It's a small rock. They showed us one last week, but it was a lot smaller, Zack said. Now we could tell Grandmaster Nightingale that we found them, Zack said, as he and Lydia walked to the middle of the stairs. When we were in Celeste's room earlier, you said you spoke to her a few times, Lydia said, turning her attention to Zack. Yeah, she helped me with at least 3 or 4 projects. She was the only one in the school who cared about me, Zack replied. When we find out what's really happened to her and the students, we'll all be friends and you could do fun things together, Lydia said cheerfully. When she and Zach got all the way down to the way they came to the upper part of the school, they could see Grandmaster Nightingale. Did you find the items you're looking for? Nightingale asked. Yes, Nightingale, we all found all the items, Lydia replied, showing all the items to the ghost. Good. I am still trying to figure out how to turn Zach back into his human form, Nightingale said. All the books in the ghost library we found, all the books can't be touched, Lydia explained. All the books in the ghost library are not able to be touched. There is an old spell used to make all the books touchable, Grandmaster Nightingale said. He was having a hard time trying to remember the password. Come on, you'll have to remember the password, Lydia said. If I remember, it's Dragonus Arbis. Yes, Dragonta Arbis. Of course, Grandmaster Nightingale told Lydia the password for the secret ghost library. Dragononta Arbis, Lydia repeated as she and Zach went to Nathaniel's office, and then they went for the teleport pad, the secret one. Lydia and Zach then went to the ghost library as Lydia went over to the ball with two rings. Let's see if the new spell from Grandmaster Nightingale works. Lydia then says the spell, and the ball with two rings began to work, and the new spell the Grandmaster Nightingale gave Lydia, it worked very well. Now that it works, we should be able to get the spell book from the ghost library, Zach said, as Lydia got the Grandmaster Nightingale's spell book. You know, Master Nightingale told us not to open the spell book, so I will obey him, Lydia said, as she and Zach went back to Grandmaster Nightingale and gave him the book to him. I found the spell book. Lydia handed the spell book to Nightingale. I have faith in you, Nightingale, Grandmaster Nightingale said to Zach. I found these pages of the orb, and I can't read it, Lydia said. Give those to me. It's dangerous to have the pages of the orb being held by a student, Nightingale said, as he took the pages from the orb from Lydia. Hand him my spellbook, Lydia, Zach said, as he gave Lydia his spellbook, and she handed it to Nightingale, Zach's spellbook. It says that you have to use the things that Zach has been in his forms before, Nightingale instructed. Thank you, Grandmaster Nightingale, Lydia replied as the ghost vanished as Lydia and Zach went to the laboratory. Then an owl was flying around their heads. It's the owl again, Zach pointed out. Maybe he could tell us what he has been doing since I got here, Lydia asked. I'll go catch him, Zach said. Okay, Zach, Lydia said as Zach flew to go catch the owl. Be careful. In a few minutes, Zach brought in the owl. I didn't let him get away this time, Zach replied. Now, why have you been spying on us? Lydia asked the owl. Owl follows Nathaniel's orders, the owl said. See, it's Nathaniel's familiar, Zach said to Lydia. He was right about Owl being the Nathaniel's familiar. Now do you know what made the school empty? Lydia asked. Owl don't know, the owl replied, obviously dumbfounded. Teachers, students, anyone who comes to the school, Lydia explained. Owl sees Master sad and angry, the owl said. And why? Lydia asked. Owl don't know. Owl follows Master's orders, the owl replied. Do you know how to get in the sanctuary? Lydia asked again. Owl knows. Danger in sacred room. You leave now. Go back home, the owl demanded. Don't count on that, Lydia replied. Danger in sacred room, the owl warned. Since we're the one who caught you, you are free to go back to your master, Lydia replied. She and Zach were going to let the owl go. Okay, Owl will go back to Nathaniel, my master, even though he's scared. The owl then flew away. Okay, Zach, now let me cut one of your claws, Lydia said as she cut one of Zach's dragon claws. Yow! Zach screamed. Oops, did I cut a little too high? Lydia asked. Yes, Zach replied. I'm sorry, Zach. I'm not used to doing this, Lydia said. She then brewed a potion that turned Zach into a cat. Here, let me scratch you. Lydia pet his fur until she got some cat hair, which she needed to turn Zach back into human. Then Lydia turned Zach into a wolf. Here, Zach, open your mouth and I'll gather some dribble. Lydia was getting some of the wolf drool. Zach moved his head a little and drooled on Lydia. Stop moving, Zach. You're drooling on me, Lydia giggled. Sorry, Lydia. It tickles, Zach replied. Lydia got what she needed and she thought it was enough, so she brewed the potion and that turned Zach back into a human. We did it, Lydia. I'm back to my own self again. Zach was so happy, and Lydia had turned him back to his human form. I'm glad you're back into human again, Zach, Lydia replied. Now we can really see why the school is empty, Zach said as he and Lydia went back to the sanctuary. Wait out here, Lydia. I'll see if we can get this portal open. While Zach was getting the door open, Lydia looked at the clouds in the sky to see a ghost of Alana appearing. Alana? You're a ghost in the sky? Lydia asked. You have forgotten me, Lydia. My daughter was in the same fate as I, but we can still bring her back for what is lost, Alana's spirit said in the clouds as magic was forming around Lydia. Is there any hope that Celeste will be alright? Lydia asked. Nathaniel couldn't bring you back. There's still hope, Lydia. Be strong and keep my daughter's spirit strong. There is always hope for a better life that she is living right now. We'll change from sad to a happy life. You could save her with love and friendship, Alana explained. I've seen powers within you, and you have healing tears that could bring back the loved ones that died. How could I save her if she's in danger, though? Lydia asked. Friendship will bring back the loss of a family member. Love will show how much you care for her about my daughter, and friendship will always bring her back, even if she's dead. Remember those things, and it will save Celeste. Alana's ghost soon vanished in the sky as Zach got the portal open for Lydia. Zach, I'm scared about what will happen if we go in, Lydia protested. We're in this together, Lydia. No matter what, I will come for you. Zach said. As he and Lydia went to the sanctuary, they saw all the students and teachers were in the room. Everyone seems to be here, Lydia said as she and Zach followed the students and teachers. They were all still, and none of them made a sound. Hello? Hello? Lydia yelled, but no one responded. They're asleep. I can't wake them. Then what caught Lydia was what she was seeing. Seeing all the teachers and students were in the room the whole time. No, please, no! Lydia then ran to where Nathaniel was standing. Oh God, please don't let it be. Lydia then stopped right in front of Nathaniel to see Celeste's dead body. Celeste! Lydia began to cry. No! My beloved Celeste! Lydia sobbed. It can't be too late to say goodbye. It's not fair. Lydia then started crying onto Celeste's body as Zach looked very sadly at Lydia. I wish I could have done something, Lydia, but there's nothing I can do. Zach sighed sadly. Celeste's eyes slowly opened to see Lydia crying on her. Lydia had felt Celeste breathing as she looked up. As tears were dried up, Zach walked up close to Lydia and Celeste. Celeste is alive, as Lydia thought she was dead. I'm okay, Lydia, Celeste said as she had her hand on Lydia's hair, stroking it. I'm alive. I'm not dead, thanks to you. Lydia looked up at Celeste. Celeste! Lydia hugged her best friend. I'm so glad you're okay. I've missed you so much, Celeste said. She cried happy tears now that Lydia was here. The power of the orb spell was broken. I've missed you too, Celeste, Lydia said. Nathaniel, along with the teachers and students, were awake to see that Celeste was alive. What happened? Nathaniel asked. He wasn't remembering what happened. Zach has the orb, Father. You don't need it anymore. Your daughter is alive. Lydia said, as Celeste got up and hugged her father. I was worried that Celeste, I thought you would never forgive me, Nathaniel replied as he cried while hugging his daughter. Father, I'm sorry for all the years of trouble and not being there when you needed me, Celeste said, thinking it was her fault when it wasn't. No, Celeste, it's my fault for what I've done, Nathaniel replied, looking at his daughter. Can you forgive me? Why wouldn't I, Father? I do forgive you, Celeste said, giving her father a smile. Ever since Mother was passed away, I was never happy again for all these years. Nathaniel, I came here as soon as I can, Lydia said, as Nathaniel notices Celeste's best friend was in the room as well. Well, I was hoping you would go back to your village when you realized the school is closed. But you, Lydia, saved my daughter, Nathaniel replied as Zach put the orb back in the chest, where it was taken out last. I'm glad it is. It was closed before, but now it's opened back up, Lydia said. So you did all this to get to me? Celeste asked. I did this to find you, Celeste. I was really worried about you, Celeste replied. You, Zach, were looking for me all over this school? Nathaniel asked, noticing that Zach was with Lydia. We did, and we had to complete a couple of things to do, Lydia explained. I'm glad we're back together, Lydia, Celeste said to her best friend. I'm so glad we're back together, sweetheart, because I would have been crying and worried about you, Lydia replied. I was the same thing, Celeste added. She was happy that Lydia was with her again. Like over and over, Lydia added as she looked at Celeste. I'm glad we're back together again, Lydia. I know I'm repeating myself, but Celeste said. She just smiled and hugged her best friend. I'm so glad to be back together too, Celeste, Lydia replied with a whisper as Nathaniel released the students and teachers from the power of the orb. Lydia and Celeste got out of the sanctuary to see Zack excited. Lydia! Celeste! The teachers finally let you leave the sanctuary, Zack said happily. Yes, but we'll have to see them again tomorrow, Lydia replied. Is Nathaniel still here? Zack asked. He is, Zack. I'm so happy that he, me, Celeste are together again, Lydia said, as she and Celeste held each other close as they looked up at the sky. They could both hear the ghost of Alana's voice in the sky. Zack, look at the stars, Lydia pointed out at the stars. It's what Lydia was telling me about the stars earlier, Celeste, Zack said. Let's look at the stars together. All three of us, Celeste said. Lydia and Celeste looked at the stars, and all three of them together, they could hear Alana's spirit in the sky. Great. The great people in the past with magic in the past look down at us from here. And whenever you girls feel like your friends or others are alone, just be sure that we're all here to guide you. And so will Nathaniel.